All right, welcome to the definitive explainer on why you, and let's be honest, so many others are still stuck below the bar. Today, we're taking a highly disciplined, really premium coaching approach to unlock what is arguably the ultimate test of raw upper body strength. You see, the pull-up just isn't like a machine pull-down where you're locked safely in place, right? It demands absolute mastery over your own body weight in free space. So, we're going to break down exactly what's holding you back, step by step, and hand you the exact blueprint to finally conquer gravity. Let's get into it.
I want to confront you directly with this question right out of the gate. Why are you still struggling to get your chin over the bar? You probably know the feeling all too well. After weeks, maybe even months of trying, you stand under the bar, you psych yourself up, you jump into position, you pull with literally everything you have, and your arms shake, you flail, and gravity wins yet again. It's incredibly frustrating, but I need you to know right now that hitting this plateau, it's not a character flaw. It doesn't mean you're inherently weak. It is simply a training state, a mechanical and neurological roadblock, and today we are going to completely dismantle it.
Our framework today comes directly from a highly authoritative source in this space, the Red Man, a renowned calisthenics and grip training coach from Steelgrip. He operates on a very simple, unyielding philosophy. To quote him directly here, "I am the Red Man, your calisthenics and grip training coach from Steelgrip. I build strength, I build control, I build discipline." Steelgrip's entire methodology focuses heavily on isolating and completely destroying your physical weak links. Listen, the issue right now isn't your motivation. You wouldn't be here watching this explainer if you didn't genuinely want to achieve this goal. The real issue is the biomechanics of your body. Your muscular chain is truly only as strong as its weakest link. And when you're hanging from a bar, any structural weakness instantly triggers your brain to just shut down power production. So we need to identify those weak links and forge them into iron.
Section 1. Common mistakes and weak links. Let's diagnose exactly what's going wrong. We have to start by looking closely at these major errors. Because if you don't fix these foundational issues first, you're essentially trying to build a skyscraper on a foundation of loose sand. Look at how people grip the bar and ultimately fail. Doing half reps and missing the dead hang entirely where you stop with your elbows still bent, that completely robs you of your full range of motion and fails to stretch and engage the lats properly. Failing to clear the chin, that means you're missing out on the peak muscular contraction at the top. Using kipping or momentum, swinging your hips wildly, that's just your body cheating. You're using momentum instead of strict muscle power. And gripping far too wide actually puts your lats at a severe mechanical disadvantage. Finally, rolling your shoulders forward at the bottom completely turns off the crucial back muscles and places a really dangerous amount of stress on your rotator cuffs. Every single one of these errors guarantees you stay stuck. Let's dive a bit deeper into the mechanics, specifically your wrists. When you jump up and grip the bar with a flexed wrist, meaning your knuckles are curled sharply inward towards your forearm, you artificially shorten the muscles in your forearm. This transfers a massive, unnatural amount of stress directly to the inside of your elbow, an anatomical area called the medial epicondyle. In plain English, you're giving yourself a severe case of golfer's elbow. The strict correct technique demands a neutral or slightly extended wrist. Doing it the wrong way won't just stall your progress, it will literally put you on the shelf with debilitating elbow pain for weeks, stopping your training dead in its tracks.
Section 2. The power of grip. This is where things get really interesting.
For the vast majority of people, the grip gives out long before the lats or biceps do. You might have a remarkably strong back from doing seated lat pull-downs on a machine, but your grip is the ultimate limiting factor when your full body weight is on the line. To effectively transmit force from your arms directly into the bar, you absolutely must hit these structural benchmarks. A beginner needs to build up the capacity to sustain a strict 60-second dead hang. Advanced athletes, they're pushing 120 seconds of uninterrupted hanging. We also look at grip endurance cycles, which involve systematically engaging and relaxing the grip under load, and the brutal one-arm hang, targeting a solid 15 seconds per arm. Why does this matter so much? Because of your nervous system. If your hands can't effortlessly crush the bar and securely support your weight, your brain perceives a threat. It neurologically inhibits your pulling muscles from firing at full capacity to protect you from falling. Basically, your brain shuts down your strength if your grip is weak.
Section 3. Perfecting your technique. Let's turn that theory into raw upward power.
Okay, here is the absolute gold standard definition of the strict pull-up. It requires a highly controlled vertical pull starting from an absolute dead hang, with your arms completely straight. From there, you pull until your chin completely clears the bar. But wait, it's not just about getting your head up, it's about leading with your chest. As you pull, you must keep your shoulder blades forcefully retracted, which means pulled down and squeezed tightly together back toward your spine. This scapular retraction is the absolute secret to ensuring your massive back muscles are doing the heavy lifting, rather than improperly relying on the smaller, much weaker muscles of your arms.
But let me make this very clear. A strict pull-up is not just an upper body exercise. You absolutely must engage your core. Think of the hollow body hold utilized by elite gymnasts. I need you to tighten your rectus abdominis, the front of your abdominal wall. A great mental cue here is to imagine pulling your belly button directly through to your spine, or, bracing your stomach hard as if you're about to take a punch. You've got to keep your body completely rigid, your pelvis slightly tucked, and your legs straight and squeezed firmly together. Why? Well, because a loose, dangling core creates massive energy leaks and causes your lower back to arch and hyperextend. A tight, rigid body ensures every single ounce of pulling force transfers efficiently into upward vertical movement.
Section 4. The 4-stage progression. This is the roadmap to your first unassisted rep.
I am issuing this 4-stage progression to you as a strict, non-negotiable directive. Stage 1 is the dead hang, building that fundamental hand and forearm strength. Stage 2 involves scapular pull-ups, mastering the initial shoulder shrug. Stage 3 introduces negative pull-ups, resisting gravity on the way down, and finally, Stage 4 brings in assisted pull-ups. The number one reason people stay stuck at a frustrating plateau for months, relying entirely on heavy rubber bands or counterweight machines, is because their ego forces them to skip stages 1 and 2. Bands are highly deceptive. They offer the most physical help at the very bottom of the movement, which ironically is exactly where you need to build the most foundational starting strength. You just cannot skip steps and expect to fly.
And this brings us back to a simple, unyielding truth of physical training. Discipline is non-negotiable. Those stage 1 dead hangs, they are not a warm-up suggestion, they are a daily requirement. They build the vital crushing and supporting grip strength that we just established as the absolute foundation of your entire pulling chain. Frankly, if you aren't disciplined enough to hang from the bar for 60 seconds, you simply haven't earned the right to try and pull yourself over it.
Let's break down Stage 2, mastering scapular pull-ups. This is so often the critical missing link for beginners. To do this correctly, you hang from the bar with an engaged core and your arms locked completely straight. Without bending your elbows even a millimeter, you pull your shoulder blades down and back. Think about trying to put your shoulder blades into your back pockets. Your entire body will elevate just 2 to 4 inches. It feels almost like a reverse shrug. This exact, subtle movement teaches the powerful lat and rhomboid engagement that forms the bedrock of a proper pull. If you can't initiate the movement with your scapula, your back is never going to fully engage.
Next is Stage 3, the negative pull-up. Eccentric training, which simply means resisting gravity on the way down, stimulates a really fascinating physiological process called synaptic potentiation. In simple terms, it actively rewires your central nervous system, teaching your brain and muscles how to handle much heavier loads than they currently can lift concentrically. It is scientifically the single best pull-up builder in existence. To execute this, you use a sturdy box or a chair to jump up so your chin is hovering over the bar. From that top position, you execute a punishing, highly controlled 3 to 7 second descent until you hit a dead hang. You are forcing your muscle fibers to fight for every single inch on the way down. So let's look at how this builds into your actual schedule with a 12-week protocol. Weeks 1 and 2 focus purely on foundation, heavy dead hangs, and scapular control. Weeks 3 to 5 are the strength build phase, where we add in those brutal, eccentric negatives. Weeks 6 to 8 introduce assisted volume, using bands to help train the full range of motion safely. And finally, weeks 9 to 12, testing for that first rep. Now notice I am heavily insisting on just 3 training sessions a week, not every day. Muscles do not grow while you're training, they grow while you are resting. Your back, your central nervous system, and your biceps absolutely require this critical recovery time to heal, adapt, and grow stronger. Overtraining will only delay your first rep. While you follow that timeline, I heavily recommend incorporating these essential accessory lifts into your routine. Inverted bodyweight rows are incredible because they build the horizontal pulling strength that directly translates to vertical pulling power. Lat pull-downs help build targeted muscle hypertrophy in the exact areas of the back you need. Bicep curls strengthen the crucial secondary movers in your arms. And hollow rocks reinforce that iron core rigidity we discussed earlier. The strict pull-up is the peak of the pyramid, but these accessory movements build the massive foundation in your lats, biceps, and core without you having to fail repeatedly and exhaustingly on the pull-up bar itself.
We're going to wrap up this explainer with one final, commanding challenge. Are you going to keep making excuses beneath the bar, or are you going to finally embrace the friction required to rise above it? The physiological science is right here. The biomechanics are clearly laid out, and the 12-week progression is absolutely battle-tested. Now, it just requires your sheer execution. Get into the gym, start your dead hangs today, and let's unlock that first strict rep. Keep pushing, stay disciplined, and I will see you in the next explainer.